Now I've come out here with my camcorder, so there was the sound of power equipment and it went off. Now I want you to know, so let's just get the idea that there. Okay, I went to bed very, very, very late last night, like the earliest hours of this morning, because I was busy on my computer. And whenever that happens, you'll find power equipment the next day. And the reason is, inside my own home, I am surveilled. So they know when I go to bed, they read my emails, they listen to my phone conversations. You know, I can go to an appointment and there's a person in red sitting there. Now, that power equipment noise, it was, I could hear it inside my house, and it woke up my brother, but I was kind of laying down on my good ear, so I really just got woken up recently by it, but it's been going on for some time. Now, as I say, I've got my camcorder here, and so that power equipment is off right now. But I'm glad that I'm making a video today, because I wanted to say something on video, on YouTube. And this is what I wanted to say. There was this great gang stalking video that I saw on the internet yesterday, and I posted it on Twitter, so you can see it also. And it was this man from North Carolina who was explaining really accurately what goes on in government gang stalking, because he was a gang stalker. And the reason I thought this was such a great video that I saw is most of the time when you look on YouTube, it's like disinformation. And it makes me think that our American Stasi, who gang stalks, also puts a lot of disinformation on YouTube. A lot of disinformation out there. I mean, these people are so ridiculous that post, that, you know, they're clowns. And you know that they're not real gang stalking targets. But this one person was extremely credible. He really understood what was going on, and he said he was gang stalked for 2 years. So I do want you to check out Constitution Gal on Twitter, so that you could see him, because I posted a couple of his videos there. But I was thinking last night, why is it that government gang stalking is not revealed? Like, I'm kind of disappointed by the Trump administration, by Cash, etc., who are not stopping government gang stalking. Now, I know they just got in office, so I definitely am going to give them a chance, let some time go by. But I was very disappointed that Cash Patel told the police, I've got your back. I was very disappointed that President Trump told the police, I've got your back. I think that's outrageous, because I think that they are there to enforce the Constitution, and they shouldn't have anybody's back. Everybody should be treated equally, and if they violate the law, they should be exposed. So I was really disappointed in Cash Patel, who I supported before he became FBI director, that he told the police, I've got your back. Now, why am I concerned about that? Because police gang stalk, firemen gang stalk, ambulance drivers gang stalk, citizen corps gang stalk. So I was, you know, I didn't know what to make of that. It makes me think that maybe the Trump administration is definitely not going to expose gang stalking. Now, I told recently, a couple of days ago, members of the Senate committee on intelligence about government gang stalking. I told quite a few of them. Now, why is it that I can tell all these people in Congress about government gang stalking? And I think if you look at my story, if you look at how I explain government gang stalking on my website, it's pretty credible. And I know some newspaper people find it pretty credible. But still, gang stalking continues. Why? This is what the conclusion that I came to. Not only is it because police gang stalk, ambulance drivers, like a percentage of our population, and Dick Cheney the Bush-Cheney administration did this, a percentage of our population, so that even this very credible person that posted this YouTube from North Carolina is being gang stalked. This is a national program. Why isn't it being exposed? Why does it continue? What I think, and this is just my theory, is that government gang stalking does not get exposed because of the fact that when Dick Cheney, the Bush administration, started it, this was after 9/11 that it started. Mukasey was the Attorney General under Bush Cheney. He actually, I can't tell you the exact date, you got to look it up, but it was around 2008. Now, I started my gang stalking in 2006, so I think that they did it after 9/11, not immediately after, but, took them a while to get this organized. But they did this after 9/11 in secret. It was totally illegal. And then, to justify it, they changed the FBI guidelines so that you could go after anybody without suspicion of wrongdoing. And that's what really codified it in our law and made this really start and have some kind of justification that the FBI could go after people without any suspicion of wrongdoing. So I think, because in the very beginning of my gang stalking, and I've been gang stalked for almost 19 years, there were people like in Britain that you would see on the internet that said they were gang stalked. There was a person in Brussels. There were some NATO countries where people were coming out and saying that they were gang stalked. Now today, you don't see that at all. And today, we just had our vice president kind of give Europe a lecture about they're taking away the First Amendment rights. Not that they had a First Amendment, but their censorship in Europe. And, saying that disinformation is against the law. And, if you criticize the government, they could show up in Europe, and this is in Britain, for instance, at your door the next day and arrest you. Now, our vice president, actually to the face of Europe, told them that this is outrageous and this is not what democracies do. So what I'm thinking is, why are they doing it? Why are our European allies doing it, our NATO allies doing it? And I think they're doing it to keep their government gang stalking hidden. Like, the only reason that I'm making such good progress is because of Elon Musk allowing free speech on Twitter. People may never know of my website if it wasn't for that. So we have, I call him Saint Elon Musk, but in countries where there isn't a hero like Elon Musk, you have people saying this is disinformation. They could say in Britain, you saying that the government gang stalks, that's disinformation and that's dangerous, and we are going to come to your door and we are going to arrest you or whatever. So it seems, my theory is that the reason your good people in the Senate Intelligence Committee are not stopping government gang stalking, exposing government gang stalking, this is not just going on in our country. I think this is going on in the NATO countries. That when Dick Cheney started this after 9/11, the intelligence agencies of the various countries started to cooperate, and I think they came up in that emotional atmosphere after 9/11 of a program like this. Now, why did they come up? Well, Bush did try to get Operation Tips out there, but this is a punitive program. This is a harassment program. This is a total surveillance program. So maybe they wanted a total surveillance program initially, like the reason for it was so that they could get on top of terrorism before they could commit a terrorist attack. But it seems to me, my gang stalking started in 2006 because of a neighbor fireman who was gang stalking. So this very quickly became, you could get a bunch of mobbing people and make out a suspicious activity report and get somebody like me gang stalked. And and this person in North Carolina that made this very credible video, please go to my Twitter account, Constitution Girl on Twitter, and look at his video. He's from North Carolina, and I know this is a national program because I saw it in Texas, I saw it in Arizona, I saw it in New Mexico when I was coming over here by car from New York. It definitely started in New York. Here I am in California. It's here. So this is a national program. And what I'm proposing to you and asking is the reason that I can tell the Senate Intelligence Committee about this, and they do nothing, because this is not, if they expose it, they're not just exposing what's going on in the United States, but they are exposing what's going on in NATO countries. And perhaps one of the reasons that there's censorship in NATO countries, that now you can get, the police in Britain at your door if you spread disinformation. And just think of it. Why is it that the Democrats push this idea of disinformation so much? It was because of censorship. Not only were they canceling us, they didn't want anybody to say anything contrary to the government narrative on Twitter. Now, thank God we got Saint Elon Musk, who gave us free speech on Twitter. But the Democrats, with their, and remember, the Democrats now have compatriots, the neocons. Neocons are now in the Democrat Party. When my government gang stalking started, the people I was gang stalked by were neocons. I mean, I knew some of them. There were neocons. So this, in the beginning, was a globalist neocon program. Now you can hear siren sounds. And my theory about why I'm getting siren sounds now is they want me to say that siren sounds are used in gang stalking as an anchor. They are. That I am harassed with siren sounds. I am. And they want you, so they constantly trying to discredit government gang stalking targets. Now, that as I say that, what do you notice? The gang stalking targets are hardly noticeable. Okay? So that when I make a video on Twitter, that affects the gang stalking. In other words, if I say they are doing something in the house next to me, which is empty, the house on that side to me is empty. Now, this, I find that also very curious, and that's why I think that the gang stalkers, our criminal FBI, they're citizen corps thugs, and who else is involved? Is the military involved? One of the gang stalker that made this magnificent video on YouTube, and he's from North Carolina, and you can go to my Twitter account, Constitution Gale on Twitter, and you can see a couple of his videos, and if you look up his name, his Twitter handle, you can see more of his videos. But one of the things that he said is, or that I was looking at a few videos last night, is that helicopters gang stalk. Now, I have found that rare, but it has occurred with me too. So who are these people that are gang stalking? Who can, get helicopters to ride over your house, like at certain times when they want to suppress something? I live near Camp Pendleton, and I was on the harbor, and I met this guy, and he started asking me about my camcorder. We were talking, and he was a soldier from Camp Pendleton, and I told him about government gang stalking, and he said, "You would be shocked at what's going on." This soldier from Camp Pendleton told me. So first I told him, no, I wouldn't be shocked because I experience some of these things every day. But interesting that a soldier from Camp Pendleton told me that. Is Camp Pendleton involved in my government gang stalking? Are they the ones doing the total surveillance? Who is doing it? Now, I know the FBI bears responsibility for it. I know that their guidelines were rewritten. That's when this started. But what is the military's role in this? Do they actually do the total surveillance? So there's many questions about government gang stalking. First, go to my Twitter account, You should go on Twitter and look up that guy in North Carolina who made these wonderful videos about his gang stalking. And it was several years ago. Like, when I was first gang stalked, it was wall-to-wall gang stalking. You know, I said I was gang stalked by hundreds of people. I was, like, in the very beginning. Now, of course, 19 years later, with the Trump administration in power, they are much more circumspect. Am I still gang stalked? Yes. Is it on the scale that it was at the very beginning? It's ferocious. You get a lot of your neighbors to gang stalk, and I believe, in my case, starting in March 24, when they really wanted to get me out of this house, suddenly the house to my right is empty, the house to my left is empty. I get the ringing in the ears. I had pressure in the back of my head, pressure on the side of my head. The exact symptom that they mention in the Havana syndrome, where some foreign advisors, what do you call them? They were attacked, I think, either by China and Russia. And this was a few years ago. So if our enemies' intelligence services are using microwave weapons, etc., then is our intelligence agencies, when they get desperate with me, I've been exposing government gang stalking for almost 19 years, and the Trump administration was coming in, and he was, in his first administration, critical of the FBI. And now, of course, he is even more critical, but he's not critical of the police. And neither is Kesh Patel. They both said, I've got the backs of the police, which is, to me, a totally immoral thing to say, because they should say, I've got the backs of the American people, not I've got the backs of the police. Yes, I am a populist Republican. I'm not registered as one, but I support them. And I don't support the squad, and they're defunding the police. I think that was outrageous. Like, I am not an anti-police person. I am an anti-gang stalking person. And the police gang stalk, as I say, first responders. Dick Cheney did that, in addition to the Reds. I call them Citizen Corps. Okay, so I'm going to end this video, but as you can see, there was power equipment noise today. I think it woke up my brother. It didn't bother me because I was sleeping on my good ear, so it didn't bother me that much, though I did hear it. I was aware of it, and I was going to come out and start recording it, but I kind of just turned over on my good ear and didn't really hear it, but it did wake up my brother. So you saw, I hope, some of that power equipment, just a little of it. It is kind of typical that when I take my camcorder out, the gang stalking stops. Like, they don't actually, when I've got it, and like I said, I'm under total surveillance. They surveil me inside my house. What I say in an email has consequences for me. If I say I'm going for a doctor's appointment, when I get there, there's a person in red sitting in the waiting room. So this is total surveillance. I'm going to end this by asking a question. And that question is this. The people on our Intelligence Committee, are they not stopping this program, which is clearly unconstitutional? Are they not stopping this program because it involves not only them, and they would be saying that it's in the United States, and they would also have to say that first responders do it. We know they're reluctant to say that, especially these guys that say they've got the backs of police who gang stalk. But does it involve the NATO countries? Like I said, in the beginning of my gang stalking, almost 2 decades ago, there were people in Europe, even in Africa, coming out and saying that they were gang stalking targets. But now you can look on the internet and you don't find that at all. And we know that there's been a crackdown in speech in Europe. Why? Why is Britain cracking down on disinformation? The police coming to your door if they say, you expose gang stalking? Is that disinformation? Is that what they're trying to keep hidden? And, I just want to say, You want to talk about the New World Order, you want to talk about the globalists, you want to talk about totalitarianism. There's something going on here, and we all know that. There's something going on here, and it's not democratic, and it's bad. But I think you can tie gang stalking into this, and that's why my theory that government gang stalking goes on with Kash Patel as FBI director, with Trump in the White House. It not only because they are reluctant to say please do it, but also because maybe when they expose U.S. gang stalking, then NATO gang stalking is going to be exposed, and they don't feel that they have the authority to do that. That's my theory. Goodbye.